I've even had experiences where I used to get done with the club and go to the gas station, get a slice of pizza. Oh, that was hard to admit. Who wants to admit that they ate
gas station pizza?
Gas station pizza, man. Yeah.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
Jeff London, DJ Jason Smith.
Here come the bang.
When the sun goes down, the music turns up. A whole new world opens up behind the velvet rope. Join us as we take you behind the scenes of the nightlife world.
Are you ready?
DJ Jason Smith, Jeff London. I'm the promoter. He's the DJ podcast, live from Boston, Massachusetts.
Good day, sir.
Good day. Episode 13.
13. What's up, man? How was your week, brother?
Week's been all right. How's your week?
I didn't catch that.
My watch. That was pretty good, huh?
That was fire.
That was on point.
Man.
Yeah,
that was kind of dope.
Shout
man.
out to
I
my
bet
Apple
you can't
Watch.
do that again.
Never. Yeah.
My watch doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It just
I just
clicks.
want to rolly. Yeah.
I want to roll you down the pizza shop right now.
Ooh, that sounds
This
good.
diet shit sucks.
You're looking good though.
We look good, but we're down. You and I both deep down inside are like, yo, you want to grab a slice of pizza?
All day.
Yo, if there's any vice in my life, it's definitely like pizza for sure.
If you had to live with one thing the rest of your life, would it be pizza or,
Yeah,
burritos?
No,
Mexican or pizza?
pizza, bro.
All day?
All day. I've even had experiences where I used to get done with the club and go to the gas station, get a slice of pizza. Oh, that was hard to admit.
You almost stumbled on that.
Because I didn't want to say that shit. Who wants to admit that they ate
Gas station pizza.
gas station pizza, man? Yeah. But it wasn't like... No, I'm not going to say it was like that. It wasn't like when you walk in 7-Eleven, that shit looks mad dusty. You know that dusty pizza? Yeah. It wasn't like that. And sometimes the guy knew I'd come in mad late, so he'd make like a pie.
Fresh pie.
He'd give him $2. This is like 20 years ago. So you'd have like fresh Hess pizza pie.
Nice.
What the fuck? It was so bad. You know, you wake up the next morning, you have that straight agita. Like, you're like throwing up in your mouth, like in your sleep from all the acid that you just ate out of a can.
Speaking of which, there's a donut on the
Somebody
table.
saved me a donut, and I want to eat it so bad. And I just, it looks pretty, like Jeff's beard.
Pretty.
So that's my advice.
Nice.
And pizza's like sex. It could be shitty, but it's still pretty good at the end of the day.
And that's pizza.
And that's pizza. And that's two fat guys. Now on to the show. I think there's another podcast that does that. What was it called? Two Bears in the Cave?
I don't know what you're watching.
No, dude, it's serious. It's like my favorite comedian. What's his name? Bert Kreischer. And another dude.
Oh, I know that dude, yeah.
Two Bears in the Cave, bro.
I've never seen it. Is it good? Did they do food?
Bro, you yell at me because I don't know anything about this podcast game, but I watched. It's not about food. Why does it got to be about food? Because they're fat? They're not even fat. They're skinny like us now. They used to be fat. They're now skinny.
I'm not skinny. Anyways,
bro, you're skinny, bro.
J. Cole album, you hear it?
J. Cole album, dude. I kind of like forgot. Come on, man.
Well, give me a rundown of what you think of J. Cole prior to this.
Oh,
album.
I like J. Cole. I like him a lot. He's a great lyricist. I think he's a little underrated for what he's putting out in today's music.
Do you ever play any of his songs?
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's very difficult for me to. How do I put this? If I'm not playing in the club and I'm not a real huge fan, I'm not really like rocking. Mm-hmm. And it's no offense to these artists. It's just I don't have the capacity. Like, I like my own shit. Like, when I'm not in the club, I listen to like my little hippy dippy shit. Like, I'll put on the Bob Marley channel on Sirius, or I'll listen to the Grateful Dead. I like that little, vibey shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not listening to 21 Savage on my time off.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm just not.
No.
You know what I mean? I think I would listen to Moneybagg Yo, though, because that's kind of fire.
Well, I agree with that because we're always in the clubs. We hear the same songs over and over again. Yeah. I like to switch it up as well. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I like to balance that with the other stuff. And I really like, I'm a huge fan of house music, too. And people don't understand that. But not EDM. Let's clarify that. House music. There's a big difference. House music's not going anywhere. It's not a niche. It's been around forever. I am a big tech house guy, and I'm a big Grateful Dead fan. I'm a hippie. I'm a big Fish fan. And I grew up listening to nothing but hip-hop and didn't get introduced to any other type of music until I was about 19 years old. It was all hip-hop all day. Couldn't tell me nothing. Oh, but before I got into hip-hop, I was big into Motown for some reason.
Wow.
And I found that on my own.
That's pretty good.
Like Motown, like...
Were your parents into music?
This is a funny story. I think we spoke about it with Ruckus a little bit. Like, my mom listened to mostly club music at that time was like freestyle, like Latin freestyle.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like that whole era of like
Spring
two of hearts, one, two, or like, you know,
Stevie B.
Let the music play. I don't get it. Yeah, Stevie B. Shout out Stevie B. Like all that. Like that's what my mother listened to. I didn't really understand. It was, I don't know, it was a little too much for me.
Yeah.
My dad was just like a super like hard working, grinding dude, and he loved cars. And the only thing he had in his car ever. Thankfully, my dad was really cool because he didn't listen to music like that, but he allowed me to play anything in his car. It was really weird.
Nice, yeah.
But if I wasn't in the car, he's playing not George Thorogood. I don't know who. I think it might be. And he was like, Bad to the Bone, bad. And my dad used to have a Corvette, so he used to always had the top down listening to like Bad to the Bone.
Repeat.
And I remember, I'm so old that we used to have 8 tracks, and my mom had the Lips. Won't you take me to Funky Town?
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Like, that shit was fire. Now looking back at it.
Right.
We used to have to flip it around, fast forward it, because it didn't have reverse buttons. Remember that?
Yeah.
My dad, oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. So, I love J. Cole's album. I love him lyrically. Club stuff, not so much.
Yeah.
I think he had one. He did a song.
He had like the Missy Elliott like workout song, like on his first, you know.
There was one song that was just so dope, man.
He had a song with Miguel that I love too. Yeah.
It was a song that was he was talking about being like in high school and love and finding love. I forgot what the name of that song was. Do you remember what it was called?
No.
Oh, it was off the Forest Hills.
Oh yeah, that was a great.
Wet Dreams. That's what it was.
That's a great song.
I think in No Role Models, that was like his earlier stuff that I really appreciated it. Yeah, that stuff.
Yeah, he's great.
Because I like we've spoken about this before. I like to be taking. I remember coming up in listening to hip hop where I just put on my headphones and we spoke about how the hip hop was a outlet for people to let other people know what's going on in the neighborhood and shit. Storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think hip hop's lost a little bit of that vision over the years, and it's gotten lost. I would put on Nas' album, Illmatic, and I would close my eyes and I'd almost be like transported into that life, even though I had no idea what that life was really like.
Who else do you think of the top top storytellers in hip hop back in the day?
Like back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh, Nas, Jay. Definitely Big, but Big was different. Big wasn't always talking about Slick Rick. Yeah, Big wasn't always just talking about stuff that was going on in the neighborhood. He was making shit up too, like gory film shit.
Right, yeah.
Or like having, like being with girls and being a pimp, and he took that street shit and added almost like a fictional like extreme to it, like Warning.
Yeah. Right.
Warning was dope. It took you through. It was a storytelling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could happen. He took it like that. Gravediggers were like that. They had a dope theme too.
Wow.
Gravediggers had like
wow.
That was RZA, Prince Paul,
yeah,
somebody else. The Gravediggers were like a gory rap group.
Very true.
They had a song called 1-800-Suicide.
Their album covers were
they were so dope. I think the one guy passed away. So Nas, Big, Jay, definitely. Older than that, KRS-One, definitely for sure.
Oh, yeah. Are you a philosopher?
Yes.
Yes.
In the beef he used to have with MC Shan out of Queensbridge.
Yeah.
So, like, and know who else was dope too? Roxanne Shante.
I like that.
Yeah. So I feel today's music is all about image, and it's lost the vulnerability of being an artist. And it's talking about fictional shit that they don't have.
A lot of drugs and guns, and everybody's got money.
Or they're playing to be that way. Mm-hmm. In our era, we were selling drugs and shooting people. This era is shooting people,
yourself.
but using drugs. You know what I mean? It's like our era is selling your era's drugs. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's like to be vulnerable on a record right now is very hard for these artists. Mm-hmm. I have to admit, I like Drake. Do you want to know why I like Drake? I can't. It's hard to admit that I like Drake because Drake is such like.
I like Drake. I'll admit.
Okay. I feel better now. I like Drake because he isn't afraid to be vulnerable on a record.
Very true.
I have to have a lot of respect for that. He's a real artist. He's not too scared to say anything on a record or say that he's heartbroken or say that somebody hurt him or like.
Do you think he just does those lyrics so girls will put them on Instagram posts as quotes?
Dude, I definitely think so too because that's a genius marketing right there.
He's a genius marketing. Let's get into question.
Wait, hold on, man. I'm finished about the J. Cole thing.
Oh, yeah.
95 South, dope.
Awesome.
To hear Cameron at the beginning of that gave me chills. I had no idea that was coming.
Well, I thought it was interesting that he didn't put. He put the playlist or the song list,
track list,
with
no
artist. So it was a surprise for everyone, and it has like Lil Jon, Cameron, 21 Savage, to name a few.
Yeah, 95 South is the record I'm talking about, and it had an intro, and all of a sudden Cameron just starts talking mad shit, and I was just like, oh my god, this is where okay, that was a good intro to the album, and then like at the end when he has Lil Jon on there, and he's like, put your hood up.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, I have to have a lot of respect for that because he's paying homage to. J. Cole wouldn't be there if it wasn't for. Cameron or Lil Jon. You know what I mean?
And he grew up
perfectly in the middle.
In the middle of those, like, that's true.
Atlanta and New York City. So he got the best coming up. He probably had the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So there's a part in one of the songs, I forget which song it is, but prior he got in a fight with Diddy, and they actually had a physical fight. And there's a part where
I remember hearing about that.
Diddy comes in the end of one of these songs and says like a little prayer about peace and stuff like that. And I thought that was super cool. Just have Diddy and talk about how they cleared the air and everything.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
That's real life shit, and that's how artists should be, dude.
Agreed.
Like, and another dope song was "My Life" with 21 Savage.
Yeah.
My life is all, and that pays homage to another old school hip hop song that we used to listen to. "My Life"
by
I think it was. I just listened to it the other day. Shit.
Look it up. We got to figure it out.
I think it's Chic Luch.
Another great artist.
Is it Chic Luch or it was Styles P? Which one do you think it was?
Styles. I don't know.
It was Styles P. I can't fucking find it, though. All right, go to the question of the week. I'll find it real quick.
Question of the week.
I like having this computer here. See, before we weren't looking shit up. Now we can fact check on the fucking fly.
All right, question of the week.
Yeah, question of the week. Go ahead.
Since we're getting back into it, will clubs be the same, less crazy? We've talked about this before, but we're amping up to it. We're amping up to clubs opening, so we're getting more of a feeling of what this is going to be, especially coming from my side. I see the tables getting booked and things like that. Will the clubs be the same, less crazy, have a huge start and die out? Like, what's going to be happening?
That's a good question, and I would like to really know the truth of that answer. I mean, the truth to that question, because we don't know. Mm-hmm. But saying that, The song is The Life. That's why I couldn't find it.
By
Styles P.
Styles P.
Shout out the Locks, baby.
Woo.
Real quick, the Locks went from Diddy shiny suit shit to being like to the Rough Riders. Like, talk about black and white.
And they're still relevant.
Yo, Jadakiss got a song out called Me. It came out in like past year, year and a half. I'm just a sucker for like old dope samples.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker. And that's why I like that J. Cole album too. He samples a lot of dope records. I'm a big sampler. I like a good
sample.
Good sample, dude. So what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, you go first.
Absolutely crazy at the beginning.
Yep.
Every club in the city. And if you aren't crazy, hang it up. People are coming out. Absolutely. Now, without a doubt, it's clubs across. I've seen places like Live open up and Vegas and things like that, and it's absolutely nuts right now. I think the same thing we're in Boston. I think the same thing's gonna be in Boston, New York as well. The thing is, which clubs are gonna survive? Because you're gonna be coming out. You're gonna come out with everybody coming out. Now it's gonna be who's gonna sustain the people. Who's gonna bring artists? Who's gonna be the top club? Every club is not it, and this happens. It does not survive. Every bar does not survive. So, at the beginning, everything's gonna be great. I give it 6 months through November.
Well, that's the usual.
Yeah, but then it's gonna be till November? It's gonna be hot summer. Fall, amazing.
Yeah, but that's the way it would be normally for our industry, though.
I agreed, and that's what I'm going to say. So it's going to, but I think it's going to be even more so than
you think
usual.
it's going to,
because you know why? Because I think a lot of people travel in the summer, and they're not going to be able to travel as much going to London, going to Europe.
Yeah, we
and
can't
things
go.
Like that.
We can't go to Europe.
Yeah, so people are going to be focused more, staying around. So I think
they're going to they're going to want to go to those destination places that they would go to here.
True. Yeah,
not so much Miami. I think Miami falls back a little bit in the summer because it just becomes too hot down there. Do you think so?
Yeah. Oh, it's all Vegas.
Like I don't really go to like Vegas is a different story because you're not outside in Vegas.
Yeah, the pool except for the pool party. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Miami, you'll walk the beach and all. It could get too. Well, after April, I don't go to Miami. Basically,
December for me.
So it's like too hot. The difference between what you just said and what I have to say is, you said New York. See, I don't think this applies to New York at all.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have venues that have the capacity or care to go see a you're not going to have David Guetta DJing in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no clubs that actually put him at except for Marquee.
Right.
I don't know if Marquee's going to reopen. It has to reopen because that is the main name for Tile Group. Mm-hmm. As far as clubs go, Marquee's a staple for that company. Right. So if it's not at the location that it originally was, they'll bring it back.
Yeah.
As far as New York goes, I know there's a couple places out in Brooklyn that are big, and they would do something like Guetta. Guetta would be like the Hamptons kind of guy, like a little destination. Definitely like Atlantic City, but not really New York City too much. Well, in the summer, New York City kind of sucks too because
everybody leaves.
Everybody leaves, but New York is not a forgiving city when it comes to heat.
Yeah.
I've lived there for almost 20 years, and like it's just as hot at night as it is during the day because that night the concrete lets all the heat that was absorbing all day. So there's still heat rising.
Right.
So New York's different. Vegas is going to crush because they're going to have the pool parties, and and then what correlates with that is you'll have like Aoki do the pool party, and then that night he'll do a club somewhere.
Right.
So that will carry over.
Right.
Vegas is going to crush. Miami's going to crush for right now because that is the first thing that's really open in the country as far as that goes. They open before Vegas is open. So if you want to see a Guetta, only place you could go right now is Miami.
Mm-hmm. And what about Boston?
Oh, it's going to be crazy here.
Yes.
Because I already know some secret things that some places are working on, and they're doing some really big things. Not
some places, or a place called Big Night.
Super low key, dude.
A place called Big Night. Yeah.
And
shout out to Big Night for letting us do this podcast.
We coming for Miami, I'll tell you that much. That's it.
Oh,
we
boy.
coming blazing. Don't worry, Green Up. We still love you, bro. But like it's gonna be like the Roaring 20s, man. I seen a video from like a party last night in Connecticut at a club. Not even club, it's one of our restaurants, and that shit was popping on a Wednesday.
Nuts.
Tomorrow's our first night back. Tomorrow's my first night in a club.
I'm excited.
I'm fucking excited too. Me and 50.
And Jeff London.
And Jeff London. And it's gonna be
I'm so excited.
I'm excited to be back. You know, I got two big weekends. Memorial Day weekend's gonna be crazy. We got I'm with Rick Ross, and then they have Diplo the next day, and that's in Shrine at Foxwoods in Connecticut. Shout out, big night, doing it big. So I think it's gonna come out. Clubs are just gonna be crazy.
You're gonna have a good summer.
Yeah, but I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna get to like December. I think it's gonna carry over to like I think it's gonna be popping until New Year's.
I like that.
And then New Year's it's gonna die back down.
I hope not.
And then well, for the first couple weeks, it's inevitable.
That's true.
I mean, like you know. So I believe that we're gonna sustain craziness up until the second week of 2022.
Wow, two, unbelievable.
The deuce.
Yeah, I think that was a great question because it's coming up, and I think it was Tony Clark, DJ Tony Clark, that sent that.
Shout out my guy Tony Clark. I got him some things. I appreciate you, Tony. Definitely, you're my guy.
But guys, send in your questions every week. We'd love to hear from them.
They're a big part of the show.
Absolutely,
gives us something to bullshit about. You know what I mean?
100%.
Now it's time for Jeff to bullshit. Let's go.
Oh, a little story time.
Gather around, kids. It's story time with Uncle Jeff. The names have been left out to protect the guilty.
Now, here's a little story I got to tell.
Yeah, man. So every week, Jeff tells us a crazy story from nightlife, and this week he comes back with another one. It's called Getting Chased Out the Club. What's this one about?
Oh, this one's a crazy one. Sunday night.
Cure?
It's Cure night.
Yo, it's so funny.
It's always
no.
Yeah. It's not
there's
always
a couple
Cure,
reasons why that goes.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you one reason. Because if it has to do with anybody that everybody on the podcast would know, people that are established or people that are known only go out when other people can't.
True.
We used to call that in New York called bridge and tunnel. So basically, I would only go out Sunday through Thursday.
Right.
Friday, you don't go out. Saturday, you don't go out.
Not, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And those, to be totally honest with you, those Friday, Saturday parties were totally different than the weekday
100%.
parties.
Yeah, my industry parties are the best parties.
Industry parties are the best parties. And that's what a lot of these stories come from you as far as, and it's always, and if you say it's Sunday, I know it's Cure because I have to say this again. That is the only club still to this day I've ever been to in Boston that I wasn't working at.
That's pretty crazy. So I'm watching the Celtics game. It's a playoff game.
Yeah.
Playoff Sunday, important game. Watching the game,
and they're in the playoffs right now, right?
They are.
We gotta get some tickets. We better call some favors in.
Yeah,
Alex, where you at, bro?
So, watch the game at home. Getting ready for work. Celtics win the game. They go intense game. It's an intense rivalry with the Wizards. Actually, at the end of the game, a little jarring off back and forth for the teams. All of a sudden, the star of the Wizards comes up. Smacks a Celtics player across the face. Boom. I'm watching on TV. I'm like, whoa, this is going to get wild.
I don't even remember that.
Break it up. Little, jarring back and forth. Break it up. No more punches.
Playoff. Yeah.
No more punches thrown. They break it up. I'm like, wow, that was pretty crazy.
Sounds it.
Half hour later, the player from the Wizards calls, I need a table. Calls one of his boys. Boy calls me.
Yeah.
This guy's the star of the Wizards. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Get him a table. get this guy.
Should have been like, nah, you smoke one, you smack one of my homies.
Well, so it was like, the story that I think previously told. I got one of those, they got him wasted and he messed up the next game.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
do that shit again.
Yeah. Let me try it again. Yeah. He comes to the club. The couple of his boys. So he comes up in a big SUV. The driver of the SUV is like, where can I park? I'm going to stay here because, whenever he wants to leave, I'm just his driver for the night. It wasn't like an Uber. He was like his driver.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
So he comes down, he's partying, everything like that. Get a text. It was like 12 o'clock. Get a text from Celtics. Couple players. Yo, we're coming down. We just finished dinner. Blah, blah. Not thinking anything of it because I'm in the middle of the night.
Well, yeah, you totally forgot what you watched on TV because now you're in work mode.
In work mode.
Yeah.
As in Cure, it's basement place. They come down the stairs. They lock eyes with this dude.
Right before they hit the bottom step, bro.
Before they hit the bottom step, just stairs. And
I guess being like a tall person in Cure is like you stand out.
And this,
for sure.
the Wizards plays on the couch. He didn't. Anyway,
wait. When this kid hits you up, you didn't be like, "Yo, I just want to let you know, so and so's here."
Oh, I might have said that in the text. Yeah.
Oh, you did let him know that they were.
I let him know that.
Okay.
So they came pretty deep. Yeah, I gave him a heads up.
You were setting up this wizard dude to just get whooped on, bro.
Yeah. Either I'm getting him drunk or whatever. Yeah. So they come down there. They walk around. They didn't say anything to the dude. They get drinking. 1 o'clock, it's drunk. All of a sudden, I see a Celtics player, another Celtics player start walking. They usually like hang at their table, walk over. I see one of the Celtics players' brothers start walking over. And the player from the Wizards saw it as well. So he starts walking. He's like, I'm getting out of here. So he starts walking up the stairs.
Oh, he's seen them approaching him.
Approaching.
Like, all right.
As soon as he sees them approaching and he goes up the stairs, they start running. They chase this guy. They chase this guy.
No.
So you're imagining 6'10" guy, 6'7" guy, running through the club, chase this guy up the stairs.
No.
Out of the club, this guy literally runs
Superman
to
into
his
SUV,
jumps off, and if they caught him, they were probably gonna hit him. And the guy took off, and that's the time the player got chased out of the club. Yeah,
that was a good story, Jeff.
Thank you.
Rick Ross agrees.
Rick Ross loves Earth
Day. Rick Ross loves Earth Day, y'all. Oops. Yeah, man, that was a good one.
Oh, nice.
A lot of energy in that one.
Oh, yeah. Nice outro.
I wonder what they would. They were going after this.
What if they did?
Was it like the final game or anything?
No, it was.
They would have gotten so much trouble if they fucking
if they caught him.
Yeah, because not only would they could have got criminal charges, but they would have been definitely like. The NBA would have definitely had to step in for that.
I know. I always wonder what if they would.
I always wonder what if.
But it could have been
part of my illness. This is my what if factor.
But it was the craziest scene to watch all these tall ass dudes.
Because it probably looks crazy.
On people just staring.
I mean, it's not like if it was a normal sized person, nobody would even look or be.
No.
But you see this big person going
it was
somewhere.
Like 3 of them
drawn to that. You can't help it.
It's pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Oh, some PNN.
Welcome to the PNN Network. Oh, shit. We need a guy to do that, bro.
I think you're the guy.
Fiverr. PNN News has breaking news. Jeff, you know what it is. It's PNN time. Positive News Network. It's what we do around here. We're sick of hearing all the negative shit on the news every day because the world is a crazy place. So we try to bring you some enlightenment, some positive news. And it's brought to you by this man, Jeff London. Jeff, what's the positive news this week, my guy?
So last week we talked a little bit about, some mental illness and things like that.
Yeah, it's Mental Illness Month.
So I was reading a study for people with severe PTSD.
Yeah.
That had a success rate of 67% of getting rid of the severe PTSD with MDMA therapy, which is, if people don't know, a drug which they call ecstasy, Molly. Yeah.
What other they call it? That's pretty much it. Ecstasy or Molly, right? I don't think there's another name for it.
Me neither. So the trial was tested with the post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. At the end of the phase 3 trial, 67% of participants who received 3 MDMA-assisted therapy sessions no longer qualified for having PTSD.
That's
just
amazing.
crazy.
That's a
getting rid of
great
PTSD.
percentage.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. It was 90 patients with severe chronic PTSD with an average duration of 14 years. So 14 years of having PTSD, and then
prior to taking this
and just taking the MDMA.
So they've been struggling for 14 years to find something to help them,
And this
which
is-
is
yeah.
fucking insane to me. And this is what I talked about at the end of our show last week, how it's not taken care of or studied enough. And there's a reason why these people have been struggling for 14 years. They've been probably getting prescribed all these shitty drugs that are chemically made. I know MDMA is a chemical too, but to elaborate on this, I know they're doing the same study with psilocybin, which is mushrooms, and it's big overseas, and they're trying to get it done over here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, to have something. I mean, I can imagine these people that have it for 14 years plus, and
they're just taking chemical after shitty chemical, and I just have a hard time with our medical. The way we handle things here, as far as, you know, what am I trying to say? The medical field, or, you know, I always feel like they're trying to take advantage of us.
Yeah.
They're not looking out for us. They just want our money. There's a reason why there's a documentary on HBO right now that's about how, like, Oxycontin, like, I've had friends die from heroin because they hurt their back.
Right. Exactly.
They weren't an addict before that.
Right. No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, like, these people are, like, killing us.
It's crazy.
So, to find something that the MDMA thing's cool. I really think the psilocybin thing, which is also, probably has the same rate
And more natural.
It's very natural.
Yeah. Well, it's just
I've actually tried doing that myself. Tried microdosing mushrooms. But I did a lot of research and I knew what dosage I needed to take. I didn't want to trip out. It wasn't. I was taking such a low dosage of these mushrooms that I wasn't actually having any physical effects. But it said what it does is, like, you know, helps when you take it, your brain starts firing neurons or whatever it is, and then the next day, you know, your receptors like reheal themselves.
Wow.
So it's almost like resetting your brain in a way.
Right.
I always felt that if you took mushrooms or like MDMA or like acid, they do the same study with LSD too. That I think it starts firing neutrons to parts of your brain that have been docile for a while.
Dormant.
Dormant. I meant to say.
I got a lot of dormant parts.
So this is great, man.
It is. I like this stuff.
I think it could really. I'm for whatever can really help people and not take advantage of people.
I'm with you. I think that's positive, and I think that's positive news right
That's it, bro. Yeah. What a great topic. Thanks, Jeff. Again, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and then I'm glad Jeff could share that with us, man, because I've seen a lot of documentaries about this too, about soldiers that are coming from, you know, Iraq and the middle and Afghanistan that are fucked up.
I mean,
they're sick of taking these downer pills that don't allow them to actually function, and they've been getting into these studies of taking psilocybin, and their PTSD's gone.
And it says in the study actually that the PTSD was mostly caused by combat related events.
Yeah, man.
So it's crazy.
That PTSD comes from traumatic shit, or it could come from something small too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be like a death or an accident. It could come from having a traumatic situation with a specific person or anything. that triggers it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad that we take advantage of our podcast to talk
100%.
about mental awareness, because it's very important, man.
And where can they find us on the podcast?
Our podcast. I am the promoter.
He's the DJ.
You can find me at Jason Smith Music on Instagram, and I am Jason Smith on your SoundCloud and Mixcloud and shit.
And you can find me at Jeff
London _
You got it.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Buy that merchandise.
Get that merch,
Big
man.
shop. BigNightShop.com. Great episode, Jason. Nice job, guys.
I'm reloaded.
Jeff London, DJ Jason Smith.
Here come the bang.